Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United transfer news where we give you that latest Manchester United transfer news with that real fan opinion. I'm getting my words mixed up because it's bloody Friday. It's the end of the week. Fantastic. Next week's going to be a big week at United. I've just realised it's not Friday, it's Thursday. Well, at least tomorrow when it is Friday, we've had an extra day to look forward to it. Apologies about that. But let's fly into it. We're going to talk off with Wilfried Zaha. And I know that the Manchester United Stand, or the United Stand as it's correctly called, because I keep messing up my words this morning, need to wake up, is that you like this sort of a signing. You like the Wan-Bissakas, you like the Wilfried Zahas. You're an acquired taste. You've got depth, United Standers, you have, and I know you would like Wilfried Zaha, a lot of you. Me personally, I can take it or leave it, but I know that you would like him. And it's interesting because he has labelled this, that's the wrong word again, he has said that with regards to a move to Manchester United, I always say that if you listen to his quotes talking about United, he talks about what a nightmare it was, and you would never think that he'd want to come back. And what he said about Manchester United, this was in, I think I read it in the Manchester Evening News yesterday, I was in a bad place then, but I'm in a good place now. So the door is ajar. The door is ajar for a Wilfried Zaha move to Manchester United if you are somebody who would like that deal to happen. I mean, look, let's talk about Zaha because ultimately, Manchester United need, and we spoke about this last night as well, and this is why I think the Zaha thing is quite interesting. If Solskjaer's front three is going to be Martial, Rashford, and a new signing on the right-hand side, well, that new signing on the right-hand side could be Wilfried Zaha, because we know that Zaha can play wide right, he can also play wide left, and he can also play through the middle, which is where he has played a lot. But we know that Rashford can play wide right, and we know that Martial can play through the middle. So maybe that interchanging between those three could be something really, really exciting. Premier League proven, had a disaster at Manchester United, but has been immense for Crystal Palace. And let's not forget, he's immense for Crystal Palace week in, week out. Now, if you put Jesse Lingard or Marcus Rashford or Anthony Martial in a Crystal Palace team, not all of those players would be immense week in, week out, which shows you what the quality of Zaha is to do it in a team that isn't anywhere near the teams at the top. So you put him in a team that is good, and it stands to reason that he could be even better. So Manchester United, Wilfried Zaha, he's basically left the door ajar, and maybe Manchester United might fancy pushing that door open, because we do have with Zaha, don't forget, I've got it wrong again, don't forget, we do have with Zaha a percentage of any fee that they get from the sale of him. So if he goes for £80 million, we would get, I think, is it 25% or 20%? So we'd get 20 million ourselves if Zaha goes. So effectively, we could pay 80 million for Crystal Palace and Zaha, and no, we won't pay, we won't buy Crystal Palace as well. We just buy Zaha, and effectively we'd get him for 60 million. So you know what? It's not that far fetched, and I think for me, it was always the issue with Zaha was always about his desire to come back to Manchester United, and I thought he would close it. I think he would be more interested in Arsenal or Spurs and staying in London, because that move to Manchester didn't work that well last time. But he's 26, as you can see. I think yes, Crystal Palace have put a fee on him, 100 million quid, but I don't think that is necessarily what they would want. And also on top of that, if we did pay 100 million, actually we're only paying 80, but he's not worth that. I think 80 million, and actually it costs us 60 because of the fee that we get back. That could be interesting. I bet, you know what, we need somebody to play on the right wing for Manchester United, and Zaha can play that position. I know he plays up front, but he can play that position in the way that you're not a front three. You're not really a right winger. You're a player that's expected to get goals. You're an attacker, and I think that he wouldn't be a bad option. And I think what makes it even more interesting, like I say, is the fact that whoever buys Zaha, we get a percentage of it anyway. So it's an interesting one. It is an interesting one. And do I think it will happen percentage-wise? I'd probably put it as low as 20%. But if it did happen, I think, you know what? Premier League proven, point to prove, top talent, probably a little bit older than what people are thinking we're going for. But at 26, come on. He's got 3-4 years. He's got a level of experience as well. He's been on a journey. They say you should never go back, and I'm one of the firm people who says that. But I'd be very interested indeed. Give us your thoughts below. Unlike many transfer stories, you've got a direct quote from the player there saying, I was in a bad place when I went to United last time, but I'm in a good place now. So, who knows? So, he's open to a move to United. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but the door is ajar with Zaha. Anyway, let's talk about Thomas Partey, because I'll tell you why I thought it was Friday. It's not because I've got a crunchie in my pocket. It's because it's not a crunchie. Ooh, big boy. It's because I'm excited by a couple of these. The Zaha ones, I don't think it's necessarily going to happen, but it's it's logical, and there's a quote from the player. The Thomas Partey one, well, this does get me excited. This is a Friday feelings discussion to have. 25 years of age, 43 million quid. He falls to me in the category of Rabiot, who is for free and a very good midfielder. You've then got Thomas Partey. And remember, we need 2 midfielders anyway. You've then got Thomas Partey, who's got a release clause of £43.5 million. And he's only 25. He's energetic. He can get forward. He can score goals. He can tackle. He can pass. Everything our midfield hasn't got. And if you got him for £43.5 million and you got Rabiot for free, you've got 2 brilliant midfielders for £43.5 million who are both under 26. I mean, that would be massively exciting for Manchester United. So why am I bringing Thomas Partey in again? Because Thomas Partey has that feeling of, you know, like Fabinho. I said this the other night. You know, like we were talking about Fabinho 2 or 3 transfer windows ago, and 2 transfer windows ago, and last transfer window at the start until he suddenly signed for Liverpool, because we highlighted a player that would have been great for United. But unfortunately, our hundreds of scouts, the best scouting network in world football, didn't highlight Fabinho as the player. Even though the fans have been talking about him for 3 years, we didn't get him. Thomas Partey is a little bit like that. He is a player where all the fans are going, what a great signing he would be. And he'll probably go to Spurs or Liverpool and be brilliant. And then we'll all be going, yeah, we should have gone for him. Well, his agent's spoken about his release clause. And I've always been a bit, well, you know, is that because he wants him to move, or is that because he wants Atletico Madrid to give him a new contract? But his dad has now come out, and this is from Ghana Web, because obviously that's the country he plays for. And his dad has come out with direct quotes and said, if he's not appreciated where he is, he should go to England. And that, again, is another little push towards the fact that he's going to come to England. So I'm encouraged by that. I mean, dads and mums can say funny things. I remember Ronaldo's mum used to say things that never happened, coming back to United and all that. But you know what? I think maybe we're getting... I think there's a lot of trepidation, frustration, nervousness, quite rightly, because of the transfers we've had in the past and the summer windows we've had in the past. But I tell you what, can I paint a picture for you? If United sign Bruno Fernandes, they get Rabiot for free, they bring Thomas Partey in for £43.5 million, they get Zaha on the right, and they get De Ligt at the back, would you be happy with that? Because I would. And actually, spend-wise, you've spent 70 on De Ligt, 70 on Bruno Fernandes, 140 million. Rabiot's free. Partey is 40 million, so 180 million. And then Zaha's going to probably be about 60 million because of the fee we get back. So about 240 million for players like that. You know, it could happen. There is deals there to be done. There is deals there to be done. Would we get Bruno Fernandes, Rabiot and Partey? No, because we're too bloody stupid to go and do something absolutely groundbreaking like that. We'd be like, well, we can only get 2 because we've got to give game time to Pereira and McTominay and Fred. If I was Solskjaer, I'd be like, screw that. Can't we loan them out and just get rid of one? Take it to a field and can't we take Fred to like the Lake District, and he'll never have been there, and just drive away. By the time he gets back, we can loan him back to Shakhtar or something like that. So, you know, when there's deals that can be done like that, Thomas Partey for 43.5 million, Rabiot for free, and maybe you get Bruno Fernandes. All right, you've bought 3 midfielders, but so what? You know, they're going to massively improve us. Don't not buy players because we've got crap at home. That's my only point about that. I don't think we would get all 3, but very, very interesting. João Felix in the middle. I'm not going to look stupid, but I just feel that João Felix is not a player that United are in for. It's apparently Benfica have got offers on the table from 4 clubs. United being 1, Man City. It's £100 million his release clause. I mean, Man City have never spent over 60 million. They're suddenly going to go from 60 to 100 million. I don't see that, but apparently they have. United are going to spend 100 million, a large proportion of their transfer budget, on a player that I don't think we actually are crying out for that position. He's sort of a support striker. He's not a midfielder, and he's certainly not a right-sided player. So I just don't see it. But, you know, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. There's a lot of stories about United and João Felix. So, I don't know. I put him in there because, again, it's there. And also, do you think it's going to happen or not? I don't know. I mean, just Atletico Madrid and Thomas Partey. What very interesting story yesterday that Diego Simeone wants Alexis Sanchez at Atletico Madrid to replace Griezmann. And, you know, a lot of people say, oh, it's an unreliable source. Yeah, whatever. maybe it is. But actually, if this was Alexis Sanchez of at his best, he would be perfect as a replacement for Griezmann, for Simeone at Atletico Madrid, because he works hard and, you know, he on his day he was a good creator. But I don't think Diego Simeone or Atletico Madrid are that stupid, and I think they'll realise that Sanchez is crap and they won't do that deal. But I'd love to see it happen. I really, really would. So just mention that one for you as well. Eriksen, not Sven Goran, Christian, basically saying that he's looking for a new challenge. I think there's a lot of players looking to move this summer who are probably wiser to keep their mouths shut, because where's Eriksen going to go for a new challenge from Spurs, right? You're not really going to go to Man City or Liverpool, because I don't think that can happen. PSG, they've got money problems. Juventus are looking at other targets. Real Madrid are looking at other targets. Barcelona are looking at other targets. I don't see where Eriksen's going to go. And would I take him at United? I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think Eriksen's new challenge is going to be, I've just lost a Champions League final, I really fancy playing for a team in 6th and going to Uzbekistan and everywhere else playing in the Emmerdale Cup. I don't see that. So I don't think Eriksen's really relevant for Manchester United. And as Adam said brilliantly when we had him on last night from Get French Football News, that, you know, there are players out there in a golden cage. Pogba is one of our own who definitely wants to leave, but nobody can afford him because their value is so high. People talk about these amazing transfer fees. Oh, look at Mbappe or Coutinho going for over 100 million. But the problem is, look at Barcelona with Coutinho. They've got a player that they paid over 130 million pounds for a couple of years ago. They want to get rid of him, but everyone else who wants to buy him is like, yeah, but he's crap. We're only going to give you 40 million. Well, we can't take a 90 million hit in 2 years. Yeah, well, you're stuck with him, aren't they? And that's the problem for the player as well, who probably wants to go. There's a lot of players out there, and the better players, like I said about Mbappe. Well, Mbappe might want to leave PSG, but someone's going to have to pay over 200 million. Who's got that sort of money when they're trying to buy other players as well? So that they get stuck in that golden cage of, yeah, I want to go, but no one's going to pay to release me. So it is interesting. It is interesting. It certainly is. Lazio linked to Fosu Mensah. I saw that yesterday. Apparently they wanted him in January, and they'd be interested in taking him again. I think with Fosu Mensah, I'd like to see him going on the tour. I'd like to see Ollie assess him in July, and if he decides he's not good enough and he goes, then fair enough. But I would like to see him given a chance, because I still think there's maybe a chance that we can get something out of him. We were linked with the striker Haller from Eintracht Frankfurt yesterday by ESPN. Very good striker. I just I don't even want to sort of spend any time on it. I just don't think United. I think that's a United link for United's sake. Really, I don't think that's a goer. I mean, it's a bit like when we were talking about Pedro from Fluminense, wasn't it, a couple of weeks ago? And we did a bit of research on him, and he looked like a really good signing for United. Nothing since, and I think you've got to be careful about some of these links. I mean, they're worth mentioning, but I got excited about that Pedro deal. I was like, oh, you'd be a really good signing. There was clearly never anything in it, which is a shame. That's Donnarumma again being mentioned by Corriere dello Sport as a replacement for De Gea. I think, as we were talking about yesterday with PSG, maybe going to make a move for De Gea. We were talking about the Lille goalkeeper who's 22. I like Donnarumma, 20 years of age, AC Milan. If De Gea goes, I'd like us to replicate what we did with De Gea and buy a younger goalkeeper who's got the potential to be a world-class goalkeeper. Because ultimately, over the next 2 years, we are looking to develop and grow and be patient. And I think, yeah, let's get a goalkeeper in 2 years' time who will be brilliant, but at the moment is on that path to brilliance. So that would be something that I'd be interested in doing as well. I'm not going to talk about De Ligt today. I'm not going to do that. And Bruno Fernandes, we did that last night. We gave the updates on that as well. João Felix, Donnarumma, Catalan, Haller, Zaha. Yeah, but going back to that, I think that it's very interesting, isn't it, about Zaha? Very interesting. I mean, let me just have a look at Football Index. I know we've not done it for a few days. Remember, the link's in the video description. You've got to be over 18 to play, and please do gamble responsibly. This is the football stock market game where you can buy shares in real-life players and enhance your portfolio. As I said, if you're going to do it, I would go in with about a minimum of 20 quid so that you can buy enough shares in the players that you want to. Effectively, players rise in value on performance on the pitch, and also on their newsworthy story. So being transfer summer, there is a lot of players that will increase on value because of their transfers. So if you look at like someone like Kalidou Koulibaly, his price, let's have a look, over the last month was very high towards the back end of May when he was linked to Manchester United, but obviously then Ancelotti was saying he's going to stay and his price has dropped a little bit, so probably somebody to avoid, which unfortunately I did buy 2 months ago, and I should have got rid of him as soon as Ancelotti said that, because his price will drop because he's not looking to make a move anymore. You've got someone like João Felix, who's on the rise, of course, because he's constantly in the news at the moment in relation to a big money transfer as well. Ronaldo's price has shot up, obviously, because he's doing well for Portugal, not because he's moving, because he's actually done well in a football game. Mbappe as well, a little shoot up because of transfer news. That's how it works. So link in the video description for that. Let's have a look if actually old Wilfried Zaha is in here. He is there. He is. Let's have a look at Zaha. So Zaha's quite an interesting one. He's currently trading at £2 a share. He's been quite steady over the last month. Drop, 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 drop. But I tell you what, if there is any pace around transfers, it will shoot up, because there was around the middle of May and it shot up. My portfolio, if you want to have a quick look at it, I've got players that I'll keep for next season anyway. I play this game long term. Some people will get players in and as soon as the news changes, they'll sell them and buy other players. But my portfolio at the moment, I've got a profit of nearly 300 quid. I've been playing for about 6 months. There's forums and everything that will give you tips and advice. It's, you know, if you like Football Ultimate Team on FIFA or you like Fantasy Premier League, you will enjoy this. But I've got some younger United players that I know are going to go up in value. And then I've got players over the summer that I think are going to move. Got Ndombele, Fernandes, Icardi, Gomez, Bergwijn. I need to get rid of Koulibaly, but I might just keep him for a little bit. But Bergwijn's going to move. Anyway, links in the video description for that if you want to have a play of it. Like I said, I would go in with about 20 quid to start off with, so you can buy numerous shares in whatever players you go for, because the more shares you've got, the more when their price goes up, the more profit you make. Link in the video description for that. Please do smash a like on the video and give us your thoughts on Zaha and Partey and that midfield trio, Rabiot, Partey, Bruno Fernandes. What would that be? And it's doable. And Zaha, would you fancy him as the right-sided solution to play with Rashford and Martial? Remember, 80 million deal, we'd only pay 60 because of the 20% we get off, because he was our player before that. Thanks everyone for watching. Lots to get your teeth into below. I shall speak to you all later.